Hello, this is Heather Buchanan, a student at Durham Technical Community College. This is an overview of a training course that I would create to train people on the topic of cybersecurity basics for small businesses. First, looking at the topic and audience overview. The topic is cybersecurity basics for small businesses, and the primary audience would be anyone that manages risk, managers and supervisors and owners, anyone who has any technical know-how as far as IT people, and just employees in general, because cybersecurity is both a community obligation and an individual obligation. Each individual has a role to play. The audience members, the participant members, would likely be between the ages of 25 and 55. They'd probably be 2/3 male, and I would expect most members would have some college education. The level of knowledge on computers and technology would vary. The needs assessment. How was this need determined? It was determined through observation. There is still a blaring cybersecurity gap that exists. Even in some large companies today, we continue to hear on a regular basis about data breaches. So we want to train small businesses in some cybersecurity basics to put them on the right track and learn how to protect their data and their assets. So we may think that small businesses are probably too small to be attacked or too small to even worry about. Nobody knows about them. Most people probably don't know about them is what we might think. But in 2023, over 70% of small businesses suffered cyber attacks. Then last year in 2024, which was only 4 months ago, over 90% of small businesses suffered cyber attacks. So this shows that no small business is too small to be attacked. It was also mentioned in the statistics that about 1/4 of those companies that collect financial data do not have a way to protect that financial data that they're collecting. From the learning objectives, by the end of the course, participants should be able to explain in 2 to 3 sentences why security measures are needed. By the end of the course, participants should be able to enumerate and define the 6 parts of the NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0 for small businesses. They should also be able to enumerate 4 of the best password practices for passwords and be able to say not only the name of it, but to know what it does and how it protects passwords. By the end of the course, participants should be able to identify 5 signs that a cybersecurity incident has taken place. And by the end of the course, participants should be able to outline a general company policy that includes wording for passwords, wording for the password policies, antivirus, what kind of antivirus they should use, multi-factor authentication, which should be enabled for every app that has multi-factor authentication, updates, meaning keeping all of the apps and all of the software up to date, and any other general best practices for internet access, like not accessing or connecting to networks in public places like libraries and airports and coffee shops. The ADDIE model. So, analysis, because no business is too small to be on the receiving end of a cyber attack, a working knowledge of cybersecurity basics is needed to form a foundation for companies to build upon. Most small businesses were the targets of cyber attack last year. This training course aims to educate supervisors who manage risks, IT professionals, small business owners, and employees in general so that everyone can keep company assets and data secure. Challenges for this course, for being able to take advantage of the course I would offer, would include if a person doesn't have a microphone, a headset, if they don't have a Zoom account, or if they're at home, for example, and they don't have a quiet room or a quiet place to listen and participate in. For D, design. The training would be centered around the NIST, National Institute for Security, and no, I forgot the T. That's okay. So anyway, the Cybersecurity Framework 2.0 Small Business Quick Start Guide. This guide is a short but comprehensive This guide is short but comprehensive and covers the most important foundations of cybersecurity, upon which the more advanced pillars can be built. The course would be a 3 one-hour video over the course of 3 weeks over Zoom. At first, I was thinking 1 2-hour video, but I realized I thought that breaking it up over a longer period of time would help us to have them absorb it better. Another advantage would be that we could review what we had learned last time. At the beginning of the next 1-hour session, we could review what was previously covered. So I thought that would help with the repetition for memory. And then I thought it would be easier just having 1-hour courses so that a person could get back to, having dinner and spending time with their family after work and what have you. 1 hour, though, is probably just good in general in case they're actually doing this on work time. I'd be using PowerPoint slides and videos. I'll be asking, this is the deliver. No, this is the deliver. Let me see. Development. Okay. Development. I'll be using the PowerPoint slides, videos. I'll be asking participants questions. I'll be using bright colors and pictures to draw attention to the content. I will ask participants to share their experiences about cybersecurity. Do they know of companies that have been targeted, or has their company been targeted? Have they ever been the target of a phishing scam, or do they know someone who has? And I feel like a lot of us know someone who has, if nothing else. My cousin, who works for a roofing company, she works in the financial sector of a roofing company, mentioned that someone had been trying to send a false invoice with an email that was very similar to hers. And the way they caught it was that the customer actually contacted her and asked if they had to pay what the invoice said. So I feel like most of us have had some kind of experience with this, and it would be nice to because these are adults, and one of the principles we were studying was making the content relevant to them. So I think that would be interesting and beneficial to have everyone speak about what experience they have with these types of incidents, or what their friends or family have had. I would also want to hear from what antivirus programs people prefer and why do they prefer them. I know that I do like Malwarebytes, and hearing that other people in IT recommend it verifies that would be a good antivirus to use. I chose online for everyone's convenience. It would be convenient for me, but also convenient for participants. I can reach a larger audience because we don't have to worry about if someone is unable to reach a venue. It's cheaper than renting out a room, so that would save everyone money. In order for them to register, I would have a website with a form where people can sign up for classes after they create accounts at available dates. We would have dates available. My cost for the course, as far as what I would have to pay, would be a monthly Zoom account fee, which is right now it's $16 a month, but it might increase to $17 a month, I just noticed. I would also need access to PowerPoint, which is part of Microsoft 365, and that would be probably $10 a month. I would need a camera, headphones, microphone, and a computer with enough power to hold Zoom meetings on. For the evaluation, I would create short assessments, no more than 8 questions on Google Forms for participants to take after each session to evaluate how much they're absorbing. After the last course, I'll ask them to evaluate the course by giving them a form with 3 questions, a number form with 3 questions, and that's the 1 through 5 form. The first question will evaluate the teacher, 1 through 5. The second question will evaluate the course, 1 through 5, and the third question would be a text box in which they can type any comments or ways to improve the course. The numbers, I would put the 5 first to the left side. How well do you think the teacher did? A question like this. 5 would be the best on the left side, because I feel like 1 could also be interpreted as the best. And so I would want the 5, which actually means the best, closer to the question so that someone wouldn't get confused. Looking at the lesson outline, a minimum of 3 lessons. Okay. The introduction will go over the fact that small businesses are targets. It will mention social engineering and phishing. There will be a video to watch on phishing from the NIST website. The NIST website had several beneficial videos, and participants will be asked about phishing. So, introduction here, cybersecurity and why we need it. We have an introduction to point out that small businesses are targets. Social engineering is something that it's not directly something that is cyber or something that's computerish, but it's used to the interaction in social environments is used to then get into someone's IT account or something like this. So it's actually, even though it's not specifically itself something that's technical, then it's something very important to watch out for because it can be tied to something technical, getting someone's email, getting any kind of little information about the company. An example of social engineering is phishing. Phishing is very, very common. I myself have fallen for a phishing scam. I fell for one phishing scam, then I almost fell for another one. So very common phishing scam. And this is the one that I fell for. There's fraudulent activity in your account. And I didn't verify much of anything. I just saw that somebody was trying to Zelle 500 out of my account, and I didn't really think much beyond that, I guess. So this is a common phishing tactic. Someone sends a text or an email, and then they want you to click on a link, or they want you to respond to them, and they'll call you, and or they want you to open an attachment. So they have a really nice video on phishing at the NIST website. After we watch the video, I would ask, if someone has received an email or text from their bank warning of fraudulent activity, what should they do first? If someone has been tricked by a phishing scam, what should they do? So we're going to ask that. Then I would have the answers as well. We would show the answers about what we can do when someone has fallen for a phishing attack. After that, we'll look at NIST, and we'll look at the 6 phases of the NIST framework: govern, identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. And then we'll go over a little bit of govern. We'll read through this. After that, I will have them conduct their own creation of a cybersecurity team. It doesn't have to be something that they actually implement at work, but it's something that they'll need to just do in the middle of the class just to get some interaction in. And these are the questions that they would answer. And it's just something private they'll keep to themselves. So we've gone over, let's see, govern, we've gone over that. After that, we'll cover identify. Identify, we'll read through the slide. We'll look at what identify means, creating an inventory list and documenting how things are stored, how they're protected, are there vulnerabilities, identify the points of access for each asset. So that would be the inventory part. And then we watch a small video, a short video on how to identify assets, threats, and vulnerability, which tied in very nicely to the identify part. After identify, we would go over the protect phase. After reading through the slide, and after looking at some of the ways on the next slide to protect our assets, so these are protect from the NIST framework. After reading through this, these are some of the ways we can protect our assets that are simple and easy to implement. Then I would click on each link and take them to the Microsoft website where these are. And we would see what these password policies mean, what each of them mean, and what Microsoft recommends as a setting for each one. So that's the sample. The rest would be to make slides for detect, respond, and recover, including PDFs, videos, and questions to keep them engaged. I would also want to continue to keep it relevant by asking them about their own experiences in cybersecurity. For the evaluation, I would want to evaluate them while we're learning. So I want them to participate while we're learning because that's going to help them to remember it better and not just me droning on about it. So I would want them to participate and ask them questions at different parts and also ask them to share their experience or share their family and friends' experiences. At the end of each course, I would also want to give them a short assessment. No more than 8 questions because I don't like long assessments either. I don't like long tests or long quizzes. Just something short that's not, it's a little challenging, but it's not going to be something that people get tired of and want to leave. Then that would be something that would be done. And then on the last day, we would add to that the 3-question assessment of how well, the number assessment of how well did the teacher do, how was the course, or something along the lines of, do you feel like you learned a lot from this course, something like that. The required materials list, okay. I would need a Microsoft 365 membership, a Zoom membership, a good computer, a comfortable chair, a good set of headphones and microphone. I would also need a quiet, distraction-free and cat-free environment from which to conduct the course. So the cost, I won't actually need any labor costs because we're actually doing it on Zoom. So this is going to be relatively cheaper and more convenient because we're doing the training online. If I bought a new chair, I would probably try to get the John Pony chair I saw that was $90, and I might get the Amazon headset that has, it was, what was it? It blocks sound or something for $50. Zoom is actually, I think they're changing it to $17 a month. Microsoft 365 would be $10 a month. I would charge $450 to the business for the course. And the challenges, one of the challenges I feel like I would face is if someone was not into technology, maybe older people, I might have to go through with them, or someone might have to go through with them and help them create a Zoom account and show them how to set up Zoom and different things like that. And this is the end of this report on how to create a training course on cybersecurity basics for small businesses.